Hey everybody, how y'all doing? It's not how I wanted to start this video, let's put it that way. We're out here in beautiful Edgewood, Texas, out at a family's house. And we came out to visit, also came out to fish Lake Fork. And, I dreamed of setting the hook on 10-pounders and just absolutely putting a whipping on them this weekend, but that didn't happen. I don't know, I couldn't figure them out. I mean, at least the big ones. We got a whole bunch of small ones and a whole bunch of whites, but I never caught something in the slot, let alone over the slot this weekend. So, you guys are going to see some videos for that, but don't get too excited. So, what are we doing this one for? Well, it's time to go through my new purchase. If you've seen the shirt already, you probably got an idea what it is. That or another label back there. But, introducing you guys, 2018 F215 from Falcon Boats. Alright guys, this is what I went out and purchased. I sold all my kayaks, sold my trailer, sold a few other things I had, and went to the bank and got on my knees and said, please give me some financing, and got this bad boy. Now, when it came for me looking at boats, the biggest thing was the biggest back deck I could find for my father, because I mean, that was really the reason I was switching over, because of after he flipped his kayak out in Sam and we spent 2 hours treading water for him, wasn't going to do that again. So I needed something I could get him in. If he stumbled in the back, he'd be safe. I wouldn't have to worry about him going overboard, and if he did go overboard, I could get him in the boat pretty easily. So let's go through her. All right, one of the last purchases I actually made for this boat, just because I've tried to get him in the boat a couple of times when we were loading it and unloading it, and if you guys know my dad, he's got Parkinson's, and his balance isn't great, and he doesn't get around too well. Let's put it that way. So, end of the day, or even in the morning, it's hard to get him in the boat. So, first thing we went with is the trick step. Now, since we've got this, I mean, it is easy as can be to get in and out of this boat. He has no issues at all. I mean, it is just, it's probably been the best buy I've bought for this boat. I mean, I can't even say it. I mean, I use this instead of stepping in for the side. This is so much easier. But I mean, that's what it's there for. So if you guys do have your own bass boat, I know a lot of you guys who follow me are kayak fishermen, but if I get some bass boat guys in here too, I highly recommend this. This is, I mean, even the handle on it makes getting in and out of the boat very simple. If you have somebody who has, a medical disability and you want to take them fishing with you, easy to get in and out of the boat with them. Alright, so what else we got? Well, we also have the Ultrex. Now, I've been using spot lock on this thing all weekend long, and I mean, it's holding me in place. We had a few days where we had some good winds. For the most part, it wasn't that bad out there, but when we were on some fish, that thing can keep me in place, and I can make that same cast over and over again. So this was great. I mean, I ain't gonna lie though, getting used to the trolling motor was a little difficult. It's fly-by-wire, so the pedal action is a little bit different than what the Ranger I had that I hardly fished in did. So there's a couple points where I almost stumbled out of the boat because I hit that pedal and that thing took off. So just forewarned. Now, as for the boat goes, one of my favorite features about this, and I know there's a lot of guys who don't like this feature, but I think you got to give it a shot and see what you think. But it's the fact that your rod lockers open up from the console towards the front instead of opening up outward. I don't know how many times when I was in that Ranger, I'd have rods almost start falling out when I lifted that rod locker up, and I always seem to have my hands on them just to make sure they didn't roll out. This, I can have rods sitting on top, and, well, hell, actually, let me just go ahead and show you, because that's another thing about it. I can get to my rods while I'm sitting here on the ground. I can sit there and tie everything, never get in my boat. Don't have to worry about getting dirt in there. It's nice. So, just for example, rods down on the deck. Alright, see if this thing moves. Bounces a little bit, but it ain't going nowhere. Biggest thing is because you got your handle and your heavier portion down here, that pops up, that ain't going nowhere. That's just going to stay in place. So if you guys, that's the biggest concern I've heard when I was looking at boats, was people talking about losing rods overboard because of that. And if that's one reason it's keeping you from buying a Falcon, it's not. Don't worry about it. But since we're talking about rod storage, the storage locker has got plenty of room. Now, if you have more rods than that, you can always take out the tubes and just lay them in here and load them out. Now, another great thing about this is the running of cables, because as you guys may have saw in one of my previous videos, I went out and bought the boat by itself, just with the boat and the motor, the big motor. And I wanted to do all the install on everything because, well, I want to know where the wiring is. I want to know how it's ran. So if I do have any issues, I know where I start and how to fix it. Wiring in this boat is a heck of a lot easier than what it was in that 04 Ranger I had. Basically, to get it down the side, you take those tubes out, and I can basically reach all the way up to the front, walk it all the way down myself, bring it into the console, and then from the console over, just have a push rod to get it to the back. And then we'll show you the back here in a little bit, but there's these plates they put on the back battery portion that a couple of screws come out, and that opens up the void where the live wells is, where the storage is, so you can even get your hands in there to really pull your cables. So a lot easier than what I had to go through with that Ranger. Now, also up here on the front, I've got two Solex's 10s. This unit is the side imaging, and this is just a base model. So, but another great thing about what I've got up front is the bracket that holds both of them. This is the Bass Boat Tech dual mount bracket, and it's specifically made for Falcon. You guys can get it specifically made for whatever brand you guys carry, but this is made where this doesn't move at all. I mean, there's no moving this. This is sturdy as can be. You're hitting rough waters. These ain't just starting to rock around. They ain't going nowhere. As you can see, I also got E-locks on both sides. So, because these stay in my boat. Now, this boat doesn't stay outside. This one is usually in a storage unit when I'm back home. So, that was another fun expense that I wasn't doing before, because hey, I had the cargo trailer. They stayed out there. I didn't have to worry about them. But now we come up to the console. What we've got is two Solex 12s. Now, the reason I went with Solex instead of the Helix is because I've gotten used to my Onyx, and this basically kind of runs off the same software. So there was no real learning curve going back, or, you know, okay, which button do I got to hit to get into my menus and all that. You know, I'm used to the touchscreen, so same thing. So, but I'm getting my Mega, which that was a big selling point. Now, if I want to be honest, if I went out and bought my depth finders this week, I probably would have been going Garmin after they just released their live view. Panoptics, that's crazy. What I may end up doing is taking one of those tins off and putting Panoptics up front, because before the original Panoptics, I'm like, okay, I can do that with a 360, but the new one, if you haven't seen that video, you need to go check that video out, because if that's really what you're getting, you're at a disadvantage if you don't have one. So, yeah. Now, I like to see what Humminbird has to say about it. You know, when iCast comes out here in a little bit, and see if they've done anything to compete. Maybe they've got the 360 moving a little bit faster. Maybe it's Mega. Who knows? I guess we'll find out during iCast. But yeah, we live in great times. If you haven't seen that sonar. All right, so moving towards the back deck. Now, this, like I said, this was the big reason why I went with Falcon. It was basically between them and Phoenix. And to be honest, I started calling the dealer for Phoenix that was closest to me, and I couldn't really get any information. I couldn't get any replies. So at that point, it's like, okay, well, let's start talking to some of the dealers around Texas for the Falcon. And you know, I was getting feedback. I was getting replies, and also I was contacting the dealer of Falcon, and I was getting emails back from them, and they were emailing me back and forth during the whole time that this was getting built. So, I mean, if you got any questions or anything you need answered or concerns before you buy one, talk to a dealer, or just send the email to the dealer, to the manufacturer themselves. Falcon will reply back to you. So that kind of helped me sell me on this boat. But as you can see, huge back deck, huge. I mean, plenty of storage compartment. Of course, I got all my rain gear, life jackets back here. The other one has got same thing for my father, but it's got, don't quote me on this, but I'm pretty sure it's a 42-gallon live well. So let me step up here. We'll get in that. Sorry, I got to clean those up a little bit. But I mean, this live well, it has a separation, but I mean, it's huge. So you're catching some big bass, not like I was this weekend. But if you caught some big ones, no problem. You can fit a couple big ones in there. But this is this is beautiful back here. My 04 Ranger that, like I said, I hardly ever fish because I enjoyed fishing on the kayak more. Battery compartment, if I had any issues, was a pain in the ass to work in. Just a pain. I mean, if you're bass boat or you've been in a bass boat, you've seen how that is. Now, I'm going to open this up. I'm going to tell you, I mean, as you can see all the electronics, I'm running 5 batteries in this boat. 5. So it does hurt me in my speed. I mean, the 15-foot talons are not that light either. Once my bank account recovers, I'm going to go out and actually get the lithium batteries and put in here, so then I can get fewer batteries too. But this is something that I love how this boat is made. Here we go. So there's my starter battery, and then there's my depth finder battery, and then of course all my other options that I put on it. So I can get to that. I mean, that's easy to work on right there. No problem. Well, let's do the trolling motor batteries. Okay. Easy. I can get to that. I have no door in the way. I can work on it sitting right here on this hatch, and I can work on it. But that's still not enough room. The whole hatch opens, the whole back. So if I'm on the water I can actually sit right on the transom inside and do whatever I need to work on. This made doing the wiring absolutely simple. I had all the batteries out. I could lay in here, get underneath, tie wrap everything up, make everything look nice and neat without an issue at all. The Ranger was so tight, I mean, there was no chance of me putting a fifth battery in there in the first place. But as you can see, I mean, there is just plenty of room back here. Now, if you're doing a shoot through haul, what you can do, which I'll admit that was my first one trying, and probably didn't do the greatest of job because I still don't get readings when I'm at full speed. I'll get it up to probably 30, 35, but after that I start losing. But what you can do is where your battery charger's at, you got a couple of screws on each side. This whole plate and the battery charger will move up, and it gets you down to where your bilge pumps are, your pumps, all your pumps are right under here. You know, 6 quick screws and they're right there. I mean, it's real simple to get to. No, I mean, like I said, the Ranger was hell trying to replace anything in there, so big plus. Now, I was also saying those panels you can take off. These back panels here, there's 3 of them. You can unscrew and get the opening into the back deck. So if there's anything you want to add, or you need to get to, let's say, a live well light, just a couple of screws off this plate, and bam, you're right at the live wells. So Falcon made it real easy to work on your own boat. Now, powering this bad boy, sorry, I kind of just jumped into that one. Close this. But powering this, I went with Evinrude. Now, I've heard enough about this during the purchase point about buying an Evinrude. Of course, me not coming from a strong bass boat background, let's put it that way, I didn't know anything about the different brands. The old Ranger had a Yamaha on it, which was a carbureted motor, wasn't fuel injected, so I had to go back there and prime it. Carburetors are always getting clogged up. It was a pain to keep that boat running right. So why the Evinrude? Because everybody, you know, doesn't do that anymore. So be honest, the biggest selling point when I bought this motor, there was a 10-year warranty on it. So I'm hoping I keep this boat for 10 years. Now, I don't want to be one of those people that lease a boat, basically, you know, every year swap it out for a new one. I buy something, I kind of stick with it. So that 10 years on that was a big selling point on that motor. But also, if you guys notice, there's no oil reserve here in the back. No oil pump, no oil tank, nothing. So it frees up some more room. But, so where's the oil at? It's actually in the motor. Oh, sorry, wrong way. So, it has its own separate tank actually on the motor itself. Right here, that's your fill up. So, you don't have to worry about having an oil spill in the tank. Also, I forgot to take the plug out of the Ranger once, and we had some bad rain in Houston, filled up the back of the boat, and water ended up getting into the oil tank. So that was an absolute nightmare. Don't have to worry about that here. And next thing is, I've also had the pump go out on that Ranger. So I was out on the middle of the lake and all of a sudden started having alarms because I wasn't getting any oil up there. Which another thing, that was a pain to swap that pump out. Don't have that here. These panels, just with a couple of Allens on each side, these panels come straight off, and everything that I would ever need to get to for this motor, I can get to on either side with these panels off. So, easy to work on, which you guys may have noticed by now. That's a kind of a theme for me, because I don't have the most time in the world when I'm not at work, so being able to get straight to the water was always a big plus. And that's kind of one of the reasons why I enjoyed kayak fishing so much, is I just hooked up to the trailer and ran. I didn't have to worry about anything. Batteries usually were on the charger as soon as I got home, so I always had full battery to power everything on the kayak, but I could go anywhere I wanted to. Didn't need a boat slip and all that. Kind of need one for here, but other than that, everything on this boat, I don't have to worry about really. If there is an issue, I can fix it. And it's not going to just take me out like it has in the past with the 04 Ranger. So, you guys can't see, it is actually the Evinrude E-Tech G2 250 HO. So, technically it's a 250 motor, but as I understand it, it's tuned up a little bit to where you're actually getting 275 horses. But, alright, let me put the cover back on. Sorry, a little bit harder to do this with one hand. Hold on guys, I'm going to put you down real quick. Okay. Now, also what we did is I used my talons on, well, like I said, 04 Ranger. I had one talon on the back, and I put it down, and the next thing you know, wind picks up and I'd be doing this. Trying to hit a spot, and the boat just keeps rotating. So, this time around I wasn't doing that, which led me to getting 2 talons. Went with the 15 footers. I figured, hey, why not get the deepest I can get with them? Used them at the lake this weekend. Holds me in place. I mean, they do their job. I mean, that's pretty much it. I can't wait until the spawn comes on with these. I mean, I loved my kayak, but even with my power pole on my kayak, really you're only talking about getting 5 to 6 feet. And it's the same thing. You had one pole, so depending on where the wind was blowing, next thing I know, I may be trying to cast this direction, but the wind has blown the front of my kayak over here. Don't have that here. Don't have that problem here. So I'm waiting for next year. The spawn should be great in this. And actually the fall should be great. When I'm fishing real shallow, when they're chasing up the shad, I can set in the timber, put these things down, and then just make the cast up against the shoreline over and over again. Make that same cast if they're setting in one spot. Not have to worry about the wind blowing me off to a little bit, and next thing I know, my line is completely changed. I'm going to be able to make that same cast over and over again. That's going to be huge. Now, I do apologize. I can't remember the name of the company I bought these from. But I bought some rigid lights, as you can see, that go on the talons. These give me straight on visibility when I'm running at night. I've tried them out. I mean, I can see pretty much anything in front of me. So if I got a low-lying stump, I'll be able to see it. Kind of like what my Supernova lights were doing for me on my kayak. I'd light up the water in front of me. I'd be able to see low stumps, so I wouldn't be hitting my Mirage drive. Those lights saved me over and over again throughout the years. Which I may still end up doing some lights. I got to do some deck lights on this for sure. But I may do the side lights like I had before. But that being said, these lights now light up everything. I mean, light up the whole front of the boat. So if you're tying something on, you got plenty of room. Now, the new talons, the Bluetooth talons, come with light here, and they do a great job lighting up the back deck. But if I'm on the front, these are going to light up everything. I mean, everything. But that's not the real reason I bought it. Real reason I bought it was beforehand, because I'm going to have you guys with me all the time. They have those camera mounts that go into your 360 light, so you can charge your camera throughout the day. on the camera pole, which is great. But problem is, you do that early in the morning, you got a 360 light that you need to put in. Not a problem with these. There's my 360 light. So now, if I want a full boat camera angle, I can put that pole in first thing in the morning, start up a camera, and just go with it. Which, that's always my thing. I know guys, you know, Greg Blancha, when we go out and fish, when he was back here in Texas, we'd talk about this, and it's like my biggest thing is I hate messing with the camera. I want to turn it on and leave it running and be done with it. We'd be out, he'd be changing batteries, changing SD cards, and I had mine set up to external battery, had a 128 gigabyte SD card in there that lasts me about 9 hours of 1080p, and I wouldn't have to worry about anything. I could just go out and fish. Well, with that, I'll have power constantly all day, and then same thing, just a bigger SD card, and I can record all day long right there. Now, but when I have my father fishing with me, that kind of gets in his way of casting. That's another reason why I like that light over that one, because I don't have a pole right here with him trying to cast where he has to worry about hitting. So what I've done for myself, for you guys really, is I've set up another camera mount. Let me slide off the boat real quick. So I took everything I had. Basically, you guys are on the same arm that I had on my kayak. Wanted to make it a little bit cheaper on me, since, you know, I kind of did just spend, let's be honest, more money than I probably wanted to. But at the same point, if I bought this boat with all this stuff from Ranger, I'm easily talking 110, 120. With Falcon, I'm not going to get into too much pricing because I don't want to quote a price that may be different in your guys' area, but I'm under 80 for everything. Everything on this boat that I bought, I'm under 80. So you guys start thinking about that. That's a big difference, but it still has a lot of money for me. So thank God truck payment is done. I don't have a truck payment and low rent, so yeah, I can afford it. Thank you. So what I ended up doing, same ram mount that I had on my kayak, drilled a couple of holes into the mounts for the Solexes. So I've got my ram ball mounted right up against a Solex, and ram ball clamp, you guys would get clamped right here. And I can set this up. I didn't do any of this weekend, but I can, if down the future, I'm gonna have it where I've got the ram mount, sorry guys, ram ball mount here with your guys' ramrod. Sorry, Super Troopers, yeah, coming back. Now I'll probably end up getting another one of this so I can get a little bit further back, so where you guys are gonna be like right here. So as I'm big motoring around looking at points, you guys are going to be able to see what I've got on my sonar, so you can kind of have an idea of what I'm going through when I'm thinking and what I'm going to do when I'm fishing, looking for fish. So you guys are going to have that view, but for the most part, which you guys are going to see some footage of this weekend of me catching small ones, yeah, most of the time you guys are going to be right about here. So you still get a pretty good view of the front deck at least. You don't get the whole back deck, or, you know, this view, which you guys may be getting that sooner than later. But for now, this is what I'm going to work with. But with that view, I mean, you guys still can see everything going on up front. So looking at the footage that I have taken of us fishing, personally, I like it. I mean, you guys tell me what you guys think. If I need to kind of tweak some things, you know, I can do that. But also with this view is fish releases. I can just swing you guys out the side of the boat and get a simple fish release right here. Now, when I'm shooting, I've never shot with the case on, so of course right now I'm not using GoPro. That's topic for another conversation. I'm done with them. I've got a Sony action camera, so without the case I can't be doing any underwater footage. So I may have a second one coming in soon, and I can do some underwater release videos. But so far, digging the Sony. Just saying. Trying to think, is there anything else I need to show you guys? Well, maybe that's what I'm going to leave it at. I'll leave it at this. If you guys want to have any questions or anything about the new Falcon or the boat itself, shoot me a question. I'll answer it as best as I can. I hope you guys enjoy it, and I hope you guys stick around for the way that my channel is going to be changing. I was strictly all around kayak fishing for the most part, and now we're going to be kind of going a little bit faster on the water, just a little bit faster. So yeah, y'all stay tuned. It's going to be a great year, and I'm hoping that my small fish karma or jinx or whatever of selling my big bass kayak will go away, because I need to get some big fish in here. And technically I have gotten some big fish in here, but this goes back to the GoPro thing. I was on Natchitoches last weekend and was killing them, but my GoPro turned on and then just started beeping like crazy, and then would never turn on again. And if you guys have watched my channel from the get-go, you guys have known I've had that happen quite a bit with my GoPros. So yeah, we're gonna give Sony a try. But sorry, I'm rambling on, guys. Like I said, look forward to getting more videos out for you guys for the year. I hope you guys enjoy this. I mean, it's not much fishing. I'll have another one for this weekend, but there she is, the Falcon F215.